Imagine a world where Lionel Messi never towers over defenders with that low center of gravity, where his genius on the ball was still there, but his body never matched it. Tonight, we're diving into the untold medical chapter of Messi's life, the battle with growth hormone deficiency, the family decisions, the near-miss moments, and the legendary napkin that helped rewrite football history.
What's to do with the spring and the timing? Look at this from Messi. Look at this, Rob. He leaves one. He leaves two for them. Takes on three. Takes on four.
This is not just a sports origin story. It's a human story about medicine, money, and a 13-year-old boy who needed more than talent to reach his potential. You'll hear about the doctor who diagnosed him, the staggering monthly cost that local clubs wouldn't shoulder, and the moment FC Barcelona stepped in. Not because they knew they were signing the greatest of all time, but because they wrote a promise on a napkin and agreed to pay for his treatment. Stay with me. At the end, I'll show how a medical decision, a club's gamble, and a family's sacrifices combined to shape not only one player's life, but the future of football itself. Curious about the exact money involved, the injections, or what might have happened if the deal fell through? I'll cover all of that. Let's go. 1. The diagnosis. What is growth hormone deficiency? When Lionel was still just a promising kid at Newell's Old Boys, doctors noticed something. His height and growth were lagging behind peers. An endocrinologist, Dr. Diego Schwartzstein, examined him and confirmed a growth hormone deficiency, GHD, a condition where the body produces insufficient growth hormone during childhood. Left untreated, GHD doesn't just mean being shorter. It can affect bone density, muscle development, and energy levels, all things that matter for a professional athlete. In Messi's case, early medical notes suggest that without intervention, his projected adult height would have been well below average. Figures quoted in various accounts point to a dramatically stunted growth trajectory if nothing changed. That's why treatment was urgent, not cosmetic. The therapy involved regular injections of recombinant human growth hormone, monitored by specialists, and followed over multiple years to restore a healthy growth trajectory. These injections are medical, supervised, and, crucially, expensive. Patients need consistent dosing and follow-up, which puts a heavy financial and logistical burden on families. 2. The cost. Why talent alone wasn't enough. Here's where the story gets raw. Talent didn't pay the bills. The monthly cost of growth hormone therapy in the late 1990s and early 2000s was substantial. Figures reported in several investigations and profiles put it in the range of $900 to $1,000 per month, sometimes higher depending on dosing and local prices. For Messi's modest family from Rosario, Argentina, this was a heavy, long-term commitment. Local clubs that might have otherwise signed young talent, including Newell's and River Plate in different accounts, either couldn't or wouldn't cover that ongoing medical bill. Messi's father and family managed to finance part of the treatment initially through a combination of personal sacrifices and short-term sponsorships. But the sustained cost became a looming threat to the entire plan. In short, the money required to make Messi physically viable as a future professional player simply wasn't available locally. This is the practical reason behind a move overseas. Not because Barcelona foresaw a superstar, but because they had the resources to pay for medicine that others could not. 3. The napkin, Barcelona's unlikely promise. Now for the cinematic part, the napkin. In December 2000, representatives connected to Barcelona, including sporting director Carles Rexach and agent Horacio Gaggioli, were so impressed by a young Messi's ability during a trial that Rexach reportedly insisted on signing him there and then. With paperwork not yet arranged, He famously scribbled an agreement on a napkin, committing Barca to bring Messi to Spain and to cover the medical support he required. That simple act sealed a path from Rosario to La Masia and ensured his treatment would continue in a more stable system. Crucially, Barcelona didn't just offer a youth contract. They explicitly agreed to pay for his medical care, the growth hormone therapy that his family could no longer reliably fund in Argentina. For the Messi family, that was the difference between the dream continuing or collapsing under the weight of medical expenses. It's worth noting, Barca's choice wasn't purely altruistic. Clubs invest in youth all the time. But few moves begin with a medical cost-benefit calculation as central as this one. 4. The treatment: injections, time, and transformation. Messi's treatment involved daily or near-daily injections administered and monitored by pediatric endocrinologists. The regimen aims to normalize growth patterns over years, not weeks, and requires strict medical supervision, blood tests, and dose adjustments as the child grows. In Messi's case, a significant portion of the treatment was administered in Argentina under Dr. Schwartzstein's supervision before Barcelona's medical staff took over, and continued monitoring as he moved to Spain. The combined effort helped him catch up toward a normal growth curve during his adolescent years. As the treatment progressed and Messi settled into La Masia, his football development accelerated alongside his physical growth. By his mid-teens, he had completed the critical phases of therapy and began to emerge as a bona fide star within Barcelona's youth ranks. Medicine had not created his talent, that was always there, but it removed a physical barrier, allowing his technique, agility, and football IQ to translate into elite performance on a full-sized pitch. 5. The human side: sacrifices and resilience. This was also a family story. Messi was separated from his mother and siblings early on. He traveled to Barcelona with his father, while his mother initially stayed in Argentina. That kind of separation at 13 is emotionally heavy. Add injections, doctors, and the pressure of being evaluated by scouts, and you get a childhood that was partially clinical and partially lonely. Yet Messi's drive and his family's sacrifices are central to this chapter. They kept him in the game when the road got rough. Messi has himself said in interviews that Barcelona's willingness to cover the medical costs was decisive. Imagine being a kid, told you either take medicine every day or the dream fades. Then a club offers to pay. It's an emotional pivot point that shows how fragile sporting journeys can be, especially for players from humble backgrounds. This makes the napkin moment not just contractual, but profoundly human. It was a vote of belief in a boy whose talent needed a little medical help to flourish. 6. The what-if alternate histories. Now the thought experiment: what if Barcelona hadn't written that napkin? Some medical outlines suggest Messi might have remained significantly shorter, which could have altered how coaches used him and how he adapted to the physical game. Could he still have become a pro? Possibly. His technical skill is exceptional, but the path would likely have been different, perhaps steered toward futsal-style play or a lower league where physical demands differ. The estimate that he might have ended up extremely short, sometimes quoted in retrospectives, reminds us how narrow some turning points are in real lives. The key takeaway: medicine changed the playing field. Not by manufacturing skill, but by enabling a naturally gifted kid to access the full range of modern athletic development. It's a reminder that elite sport often requires a mix of talent, opportunity, and yes, access to medical care. 7. Legacy: medicine, clubs, and the ethics of youth care. Messi's story opened a conversation. What responsibilities do clubs have toward the medical needs of young players? Barcelona's decision set a precedent and raised complex ethical questions. When does a club's role become caregiving versus talent investment? Should access to essential medical treatment be a gatekeeper for opportunity in sport? These are debates that extend beyond Messi into how youth academies worldwide structure contracts, welfare, and long-term care. Ultimately, Messi's growth hormone chapter is a lesson in systems, how healthcare, finance, and sport interlink. It suggests that the next superstar might depend as much on a doctor's diagnosis and a sponsor's wallet as on practice hours and natural gifts. That interplay is an important part of the modern game, and Messi's story is one of the clearest historical examples. Lionel Messi's rise wasn't only raw talent and relentless practice, it was also medicine, money, and a moment of mercy inked on a napkin. Growth hormone therapy removed a physical barrier. Barcelona's willingness to fund it changed his options, and his family's sacrifices made the human side of this story possible. The bigger picture is a reminder that elite sport rarely follows a straight line. It bends around resources, care, and chance. If you found this episode revealing, hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell. We dig deep into moments that shaped sporting history. Drop a comment. What surprised you most about Messi's medical journey? If you want a follow-up, I can make a video exploring other athletes whose careers were saved or shaped by medical interventions. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes greatness needs more than talent. It needs medicine, belief, and a little luck.